Assalamu alaikum. This is Mohammed Rameez and you're watching Flutter Fluency. So in this video we are going to discuss about text versus rich text. So I hope you have watched the previous videos. So basically this video is a continuity of the of some of the other videos in which we have initially we have discussed about all the integrations just like API integration and rest of the stuff, and we have discussed all of the tabs here in separate video. And now this is the second video of our of the continuity of our Flutterflow for beginner series, and this is basically a widget series. Okay, so welcome to this widget series part 2 or episode 2. So let's talk about widget text widget. So if you click here, so you will be able to see a lot of widgets here that you can use in used if you want to build your application. Okay, so this is basically a front end of an application. So the text widget is a widely used widget so basically if you want to add any kind of text message or something like that, so you need to use a text widget. Okay, so you can simply drag and drop into your widget. So I have a row, basically here you can see green. So in the row I'm gonna insert my text, one more text as well. So the first text is this and second text is this, so that's why it's horizontal, in a horizontal manner. If you don't know how these two things are in a horizontal manner, so you must need to see the previous video in which I have discussed about rows and columns. Okay, so I'm gonna delete this text because I'm gonna tell you using this text. Okay, so yeah, if you want to show any kind of text, let's suppose example, so you can simply write these text here. But in this specific video my major focus is on the some of the weak points that we will be able to face when we are using text widget. Okay, so let's suppose you have two things in your row. So the text widget is really simple. You can simply add a padding or alignment, and you can also adjust the styling as well. You have you have a font family, so you have two font families primarily, so primary text and secondary text, which you have created. And how can you create this font family? So you need to click on settings, or you can simply click on font family, and you will be able to see this family here. But if you want to change these families, so how can you do these things? So you can simply click on settings, app assets, no, sorry, not app asset, app it should be in, oh sorry, so you need to click on the colors. So in the colors you will be able to see typography icons. So you can click here, and here you can see you have primary family, which is set open sans. So you can simply select, let's suppose I want roboto, so I'm gonna click it. So now my primary text is roboto, and secondary text, maybe I want Montserrat, if I am correctly pronouncing, yeah, Montserrat. Okay, so I'm gonna click here. So yeah, if I go back, so now I'll be able to see that font is now changed. Okay, so you can also change the font size here, let's suppose 18, and the color I want primary text, so you can change it directly. And line height is basically if you have multiple lines of one text, so it can add a margin or a padding between two lines, among two lines. I'll be also showing you this feature. So for now let's leave it empty. Here you can see as I mark empty or 0, so it move little bit up. But when I add 3, so here you can see that it adding a spacing between lines. So if my text is more than 2 lines, so it will be having a spacing between 2 lines. Okay, and there is an alignment. You will not be able to see alignment here directly because this is very smaller example, so you will not be able to see this thing more prominently, because you need to have more than one line. So when you have multiple lines, I'll be increasing the area of this text. Then yeah, I'll be discussing about the text alignment and line height specifically. Letter spacing you can understand for now because it can add a spacing between each letter. So let's suppose I am gonna add 1. So you can see that now the text is 1 pixels apart from each letter. Okay, so the maximum line, this is really important thing. So let's suppose you are building an application. Let me create a scenario. So basically you are creating an e-commerce application and you don't want to show the description, because we know that description have a lot of words, lot of characters. Maybe it goes above 400 characters or something like that. So in this way, if you don't want to show all the characters into the text in once, so you will need to use max line. So let's suppose you want 4 lines to show only, but when user click on expand, then you will be able to show to the user all that complete description. So in this way you need to use max line. So if I'm gonna add one max line, which means that if my area get exceed to 2 lines, so only 1 line will be visible and second line would not be visible. We will be also showing checking this thing. Let me remove this thing, and let's talk about one more thing which I have. So for example, if you have a lot of text in the text widget, so and you are working in a row. So let's create a scenario. I'm gonna insert a circular circular image. Let's suppose we have a circular image. You don't need to worry about it. We will be covering the circular widget in a separate video. Okay, so I'm gonna drag and move to the top, and what we want is that we want if we are gonna increase the text, so what happened. So let's see. So let's suppose I'm gonna paste. Yeah, here you can see. So basically we are working in a row and we have 2 widgets, and the one widget is good and the other widget is the text widget. And here you can see that when the text size, the area that exceeds, it will be crashing the screen. So if you are thinking that it will be scrollable, so no, it's not scrollable, because if I click here, so you can see that it's not scrollable. So it will not scroll, it will only do crash. So how can we fix this thing? So if you are facing this thing and if you must want to wrap your text into a row, so there must be need to do one thing. Okay, so you need to click on expansion. When you click on expansion, so here you can see that now it's reflected back to the next line, and it's now showing into the row, but in an expansion manner. Okay, so now we can check out the other things that we have. Let's suppose we have the text alignment. So here you can see that it's leftmost align, because the alignment is this. So if I'm gonna make it centered, so it will, Lahore will comes to the center. So let's see, if I click there, so everything is centered now, even if we have a little bit spacing here and here, so it also centering. And if we click on this button, so it will be right align. And this is basically a this will cover the whole area and hold the edges that we have. Let's suppose if I click here, so you can see that now each text is attaching with this line and this line. So this is a justify content. Okay, justify content can make in a structural manner. So if I remove this, so you can see that it's in a structural manner. It's like attaching both sides from the wall of the text. Okay, so let me do this thing, because we don't want justify. And now let's check the line height. So if I'm gonna add line height to 1, so you can see that it's now reduced, because by default the line height the Flutterflow gives us is 1.5 or 1.2, I guess. I think 3. So let me remove and check. So 1.2, yeah. So you can see that you can simply add a spacing height between your lines. And let's talk about the max line. So if I'm gonna add 1, so you will be able to see that you don't be able to see these 2 lines. So I'm gonna add 1, and here it's now only a 1 line. So it will be saying that okay, no matters how many lines you have, I'll be only showing 1 line. Okay, so that's how you can simply add these things. So obviously the drop shadow, if you want to add a shadow into your text, so you can simply add a shadow. You can also change it. So the blur, I'm gonna cover this red shadow in a separate video, but I'm gonna tell you a small short in a short manner. So the color, maybe we can say that the color is alternate, not an alternate but a primary color. And the blur radius, so the blur radius is as much as the blur radius you will be adding, so it will be showing less opacity. It's a very short thing that you can understand. So if I'm gonna make it 20, so you can see that it's very less opacity. You will be able to see very less visibility here. So as much as you increase the blur radius, so it's more visible. Okay, so the offset, x offset and y offset is basically a direction where you want this this blur radius to be spread. Okay, so let's suppose if I want to this radius to be moved to the x-axis right side or a left side, so we can change it. Let's suppose 20, so you can see that it's now moving up 20. Okay, so similarly if you want top and bottom, so you can adjust x-axis and y-axis, so you can see that. Okay, so yeah, auto size property, if you want to use a auto size property, if you are in obviously in an e-commerce application, you must need to use an auto size. So let's suppose if you are you are also targeting smaller screens or a larger screen, smaller mobile, so you can also adjust minimum font should be let's suppose 10 pixels. Obviously you will not be able to see, but when the size is very small and there is a chance of crash to the screen due to the text, so it will be reduce the font to the 10 pixels. Okay, but by default it would be an 18 pixels. Similarly scale selectable is basically if you want that when your application is in running and user can select the text or copy the text, so you can enable the selectable, so user will be able to select the text using this thing. Okay, so there comes another property which we can use into our application, which is gradient. So here you can also see that if you don't want to use this color, which is the text in this color, obviously the text color is also adding an impression on this, but if we are gonna change the color, so you can see that it's more likely to be a blackish, but more prominent color would be a gradient. And you can simply change the color right to left, their directions, top to bottom if you want. Okay, and there are the other things which you can play according to your taste. And the type is also linear or radical, so you can also choose these things. You can also add a radius, and it's 110. And now if I'm gonna add 5 4 3 2, so you can see that it's adjusting based upon your selection. So you can check out, and you can also add color if you want. I'm gonna disable this thing we don't want, and the color should be white primary. Okay, so yeah, there is a one more thing, which is animate changing. Animate changing is basically if you don't want to use animate changing, it's totally fine. You can also use the animations from here, but text widget itself comes with an animate changes, but you don't need to worry about it. In Flutterflow you can animate anything, even a circular image. You can also animate this thing, but text widget itself comes with an animate, so you can also animate using the text widget as well. So you can simply add a duration, and you can change the animation curve. Maybe the text comes from the left side and move to the right side or something like that, or maybe the text comes to left side and touches the wall to the right side and bounce back to the original position. So you can also adjust these things. I'm gonna cover the animations in a separate video. So yeah, that's all about the text widget that we have. And let's talk about the rich text widget. Okay, so what are rich text and why we need to use rich text? Okay, so let's suppose I'm gonna remove the shadow because we don't want to add a shadow. Okay, so I want is that if I want to change some text have different color and some text have different styling or something like that, so you need to use rich text. So I'm gonna, let's suppose I want that everything would be in a white color, but my name Mohammed Ramis and what I have did and the institute name must be in a different color and must be bold. So if you want to change the styling in the text on a specific position, so you need to use rich text. I'm gonna replace this widget. You can right click on it and replace widget, and here you can see rich text. I'm gonna click rich text. Now the text is now this is my rich text. If I scroll up, everything is same. You can see that these panel is everything is same. So if you are managing rich text there, so all the text that we rich text have having the same styling. Okay, so basically rich text is a combination of multiple text. Here you can see that this is one text, and if I'm gonna add one more text, so you can see that I'm gonna add, or I'm gonna change this thing. Let's suppose here, so I'm gonna add multiple text within a rich text, and I'm gonna manage everything in a single way. Okay, so let's suppose I want this is Muhammad, this is would be a white, and then we have a text span, then we can paste everything remaining thing, and then cut the remaining portion, paste it into the next one. I have done BSCS, cut this thing, paste it here, and then paste it here, and then paste it here. Okay, so you will not be able to see any of the change here, which is totally fine, because Yeah, okay, so because everything right now, the everything is having a same styling. You can see that. So if I'm gonna change the, so you can see that it's changing the size based upon the specific styling. Okay, so there is a one thing which you can see is that if I'm gonna reduce the size too, so this text is remain same but the other text becomes smaller. So why this thing is happening, why all these widgets, all these text are not managing together? Because there might be a chance that the first text must have their own styling. If I click on this button, a button, so you can see that, so this have their own styling. So you can simply change the color separately or the styling as well. I'm not gonna change the styling, the font should be same. And let's go back to the this portion and we can manage this thing, but before we are gonna add 18 previously. And now move to the name part. Okay, so yeah, here you can see that the font size is not adding, that's why it's managing by the parent one or the main one. Okay, so font size would be, maybe we can say that 20 bigger font, and the font color should be primary, and even we can also change the style of the text. Maybe we can say that secondary text. Okay, not secondary, maybe we can say that primary text. Okay, and let's move to the bold. So maybe we can do bold, and yeah, this thing. And we don't need to do, yeah, we can maybe highlight, underline this thing. Similarly, let's go back and add the BCS padding. Maybe the color should be, in this case the color should be green, and it should be bold roboto, and the size should be 20, and it should be italic. Okay, so you can see that everything is in a one text, everything is managing dynamically. You can change whatever you want, and using the text widget, and you can simply change the styling. Maybe we can say that GC Lahore should be thin, so we are going to select thin and we are going to change the roboto, and now you will be able to see thin. Okay, so it's like this. So because maybe there might be a chance that Montserrat does not support a thin text, that's why it would be same, but the roboto is accepting that thin text. So that's how you can simply manage your text and rich text. So there is a major difference between rich text and text, which is you can simply manage multiple childs of text widget using a one single widget, which is rich text. So you not need to create a row and add multiple text to change a color. There might be a chance that you will be able, you're gonna focus on another thing, which is another scenario or another way, which is adding multiple text into a row. So let's suppose if you want to you are adding text here and you are duplicating these text, and maybe you are saying that okay, I can simply manage the behavior here and separately here, but remember this is a row and this is not a good way. Although you can do this thing using this as well, but this is not a good way. So it's better to use the exact same widget which is purposeful. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much for watching, and if you have any questions, so you can drop a message into a text into a comment section, and I'll see you into the next video.